Hello, Kombat Princess here, back with an all new video. If you are new, welcome. Before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you end up liking the video, turn on post notifications. So we are getting into a princess cut today, and I have a special guest on my channel, Mike Hollow.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. Today we are going to be cutting into Shao Kahn,
aka Zaddy Shao.
aka Zaddy. Is it Zaddy or Daddy?
Is Zaddy.
So we'll be cutting into Zaddy Shao. We'll be dissecting the character and leaving everything on the table.
Zaddy Shao was introduced, I believe, in Mortal Kombat 2 as a main antagonist. He's always been like a main antagonist, aka he's the king of invasions, in my opinion. After doing my homework with Mike, it was very interesting that, you know, he made his debut, because I didn't know that he was basically Onaga's bitch, you know. That's how he kind of came about into his own person, betraying his original emperor, which was the Dragon King.
Yeah, so originally, Shao Kahn, I don't know what his original name was. It wasn't Kahn. We're just going to call him Shao. He served under Onaga. He was like the acting general, and Onaga, being the Dragon King, was the ruler of Outworld, and he had ruled Outworld for many, many years. But people became suspicious because Shao Kahn started acting a bit snaky around Onaga, and it came to light that he was actually poisoning Onaga because he couldn't beat him in a straight fight. It's a bit of a bitch move, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
He did that Lifetime movie shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you act like that?
Like what?
The way that you act, you don't see how you act while people don't want to be around you?
No.
He knew he didn't have the hands for Onaga, but he had the brains, and he managed to poison him, take over Outworld, become the Khan, and that is when the invasions of all the other realms sort of begin. After he took over Outworld and he was conquering other small realms here and there, merging them into Outworld, his major victory and his real claim to fame in the early days was taking over Edenia and merging those two realms. He stormed Edenia, he took Sindel as his wife, he killed King Jared, and he had Kitana become his daughter. So that's where Shao Kahn's story originally begins and goes into Mortal Kombat 1.
And I'd just like to add, for fun fact, while he took Kit as his daughter, you know, he did have a sideline plan with Shai Shang into forming Lily when she eventually comes into this cut. You know, basically having her as a backup plan to when Kit eventually finds out that, you know, he's not her real daddy.
Yeah, so that leads us into the events of Mortal Kombat 1. So after Shao Kahn had taken over Outworld, as after he'd enslaved the citizens of Outworld, he set his sights on Earthrealm. Now, the issue here was that you had to win 10 consecutive victories to take over Earthrealm and merge it into Outworld. And so Shao Kahn was very successful initially. He won 9 Mortal Kombats in a row, basically employing the services of Prince Goro, who, you know, you guys will know as the four-armed Shokan. That it
AKA
was
600-pound life. That's what we call him on this channel.
600-pound life, and Shao Kahn basically beat everyone's ass. And Raiden was running out of options. He had one hope left. If they lost one more tournament, that was it. And that is when Liu Kang and our current Kung Lao comes into the story. Obviously, the original Kung Lao, the great Kung Lao, was killed by Goro. And so when they enter the tournament, they take on Shao Kahn's best, with the final boss being Shang Tsung. Unfortunately for Shang Tsung, he does not do what his Khan set him out to do, and he ends up losing to Liu Kang.
So moving on to Mortal Kombat 2.
In Mortal Kombat 2, Shang Tsung went crawling back to Shao Kahn. Obviously, he's embarrassed him in front of millions of people, and he's thinking to himself, Shao Kahn's going to off me now. And to be honest with you, Shao Kahn will be justified in doing so, being one victory away from ultimate victory, and then losing. I would probably kill him myself. But he manages to convince Shao Kahn to spare his life and to allow the sorcerer to try once again to conquer Earthrealm's heroes. The way they decide to go about this is they want to lure Earthrealm's champions into Outworld, where Shao Kahn would ultimately have all of the power, and they do this by using Sonya and Kano as bait.
AKA cottage cheese and Cyclops 2.0.
So cottage cheese and Cyclops 2.0 are the bait for Shao Kahn. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Earthrealm's champions come over to Outworld, and even though Shao Kahn is with the home field advantage and he has everything at his disposal, somehow Liu Kang is still able to overcome Shao Kahn. He manages to stop his armies attacking, and essentially Shao Kahn's invasion again is stopped.
So it's almost like 3 franchises and you've been put down already, literally, because there was some whole like story before Mortal Kombat even came about. And so everything that he kind of has been doing up till now has kind of been flopping. We don't really see like a successful Shao Kahn story till we get to Armageddon.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So Mortal Kombat 3.
So now we move into Mortal Kombat 3, and Shao Kahn is now having a tantrum. He's hit peak anger. He's not used to losing. He's now lost twice in a row. And so he's basically in fuck it mentality. And he's like, right, we'll just go into basically circumnavigate the situation. We're going to prevent Sindel's soul from passing on to the afterlife. And in doing that, would allow Shang Tsung to resurrect her on Earth. What that does is it has allowed a member of Outworld to basically be on Earth when they're not supposed to be. And that gives Kahn the ability to walk onto Earth and start the invasion properly. And that is, a lot of you will remember from the Mortal Kombat 9 game, which is a retelling of 1, 2, and 3. You see Sindel being resurrected by Quan Chi. In this original timeline, it's Shang Tsung. And so the invasion begins. Earthrealm's inhabitants in Mortal Kombat 3 start to become enslaved. Their souls are sucked out of them. And Raiden is really on the back burner here. He's not entirely sure what he should do because Shao Kahn has grown so powerful. In a last-ditch effort, Liu Kang and Kung Lao confront the Emperor. And in this fight, Kung Lao is beaten half to death. But luckily, he escapes with his life and Shao Kahn is defeated by Liu Kang. And in doing that, Earthrealm's invasion stopped, and Shao Kahn's hold over Edenia is basically pulled away from him, essentially, and he's severely depowered.
So another day, another flop. Okay, so now we can get into Deadly Alliance, where Rich Homie Quan Chi and Shiesty Shang decided to, do their own thing together and basically rebel against original MK Law.
Yeah, so we sort of skip over Mortal Kombat 4 because Shao Kahn was so heavily beaten in Mortal Kombat 3, he doesn't actually make much of an appearance or much say in Mortal Kombat 4. So in Deadly Alliance, which is Mortal Kombat 5, we see Shao Kahn with heavily depleted forces.
I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself.
He's very, very weakened. He doesn't have the same intimidating aura about him that he did before. And unfortunately for him, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung picked up on this and they went right for his neck. It doesn't take them 2 minutes into the game coming out that we see Shao Kahn get beaten half to death, and it's assumed that Quan Chi and Shang Tsung have actually killed him. Now, in this moment, everyone believed that Shao Kahn was dead, but Shao Kahn was in possession of an ancient artifact or some sort of ability that allowed him to create a clone that was really acting as a diversion. So where we all believed he was dead, he actually managed to escape his palace, and in his weakened state, he was able to revive Prince Goro and ask for Goro's services to restore his power and restore the status of his people.
He needed that weight, that 600-pound life. He couldn't come back in there by himself. So, I'm not surprised that, he had to resurrect Goro.
Yeah, he had to resurrect Goro. He knew that his options were very limited. He had lost everything. He probably lost the respect of a lot of people around him. When you're defeated 3 times in a row, I don't think people are as scared of you as they would be. So in Mortal Kombat Deception, we don't actually see much activity from Shao Kahn. Because this is the game where Onaga comes back, and Shao Kahn knew what was good for him, because if Onaga had seen him, he would have beaten his ass half to death for poisoning him. So Shao Kahn goes into hiding, and that's where we get to the events of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. So in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Shao Kahn's power had now returned to him. He was now returned to his former glory. He was feeling confident. He was feeling like he could step to the people that had cost him everything previously.
Didn't he put down Blaze too in Armageddon? That worked out for him.
Yeah, so before we skip to Blaze, we'll talk about how he got there initially and how he was able to take down Blaze and obviously stop Raiden. But initially, when he returns to power, he is I believe he confronts Melina. Now, initially when he saw Melina was saying to him, "I'm not taking your shit anymore, I'm tired of you." And she tried to throw hands at him. And Shao Kahn quickly reminded her that she's not about that life. And she had to bow down and swear fealty to Shao Kahn. So he's now got her on his side. She got put down, she got put in her place. He told her to know her role and shut her mouth, and that was the end of it. And so he joins the battle on the Pyramid of Argus, which is where the events of Armageddon takes place in the opening movie. And much to everybody's surprise, Shao Kahn is actually the victor. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody else saw it coming. Shao Kahn ascends the Pyramid of Argus. He defeats Blaze, and in doing so, is the only member of the Mortal Kombat roster that is alive at this point, other than Raiden.
So moving on to Mortal Kombat 9, which I would just like to say I really did like Shao Kahn here. You know, he was one of the bosses, and wasn't Goro and Kintaro was one of the bosses for the towers in this game. This is where Mortal Kombat started to go and the cinematic side of things. You know, not a lot of people didn't like that, but I did really like the Shao Kahn in this MK story.
Yeah, so in Mortal Kombat 9, it directly leads from Armageddon. Now, there was a lot of confusion in Mortal Kombat 9 and Armageddon because we believed Shao Kahn had been killed by Onaga. Turns out he actually managed to put hands on Onaga this time, and he was the last man standing. Raiden realized...
Wait, stop. Didn't Zaddy Shao get pulled off of the temple like a roach that was falling off of the cliff? I remember that very that part. So, you know, it was giving like a hawk and its prey. You know, I thought that he was dead too.
Yeah, so we all thought he was dead. What actually happened is Onaga must have abducted him, but Shao Kahn got the drop on him because Shao Kahn is the victor of Armageddon, so obviously Onaga would have had to lose. The only two people left standing were Raiden and Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn was the only person left fit. Raiden was about to die. He had lost all hope, but luckily for Raiden, he had an amulet that allowed him to send his consciousness back into the past to the events of Mortal Kombat 1, and it allowed that Raiden in the past to know that the future Raiden had lost to Shao Kahn, and we now need to change the events of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 and defeat Shao Kahn before we get to the point of Armageddon.
He has went out of his way multiple times when it comes to basically conjuring up something, but he just always ends up flopping. Like the fact that, you know, the Elder Gods worked in, you know, Raiden's favor, you know, it was just really sad.
You don't act. You don't sing. You don't dance. You don't have any talent.
You know, he didn't get to be victorious.
Yeah, so unfortunately for him, his the Raiden of the past did actually manage to defeat him in Mortal Kombat 9. So Mortal Kombat 9 is Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 put together, basically. And it follows very, very, very similar events to the original storyline, almost down to a T. Except at the ending of this, Shao Kahn has basically battered everybody. Liu Kang is dead now, by way of Raiden because he messed up, because Raiden is also another one that can't seem to get something right. But the Elder Gods intervene in Mortal Kombat 9, and they basically cost Shao Kahn. So once again, Shao Kahn loses unfairly. So this is twice now he's been cheated. In Armageddon, he won, and Raiden went back in time. And then in Mortal Kombat 9, he won, but the Elder Gods got involved and basically destroyed him.
Moving on to Mortal Kombat 11, which I just wanted to... This one is very funny. I mean, I'll let Mike explain the story to y'all, because y'all know I don't even go into the deep lore of the semantic Mortal Kombats. But I will say I really love the story in 11, you know. Daddy Shao and Mother Sindel, because, you know, Sindel's mother, she gives us mother vibes. they were not playing. They were definitely the power couple. Killing people left and right, up and down, and I was just here for that. Even though I ended up laughing at the end because Shiesty Shang ended up turning on everybody, and that was funny to me.
Yeah, so in Mortal Kombat 11 is a bit of a strange one because Shao Kahn was technically dead still in this game. He doesn't make an appearance in Mortal Kombat 10. Again, that's Shinnok's story. But basically, what happened with Mortal Kombat 11 is Kronika brought Shao Kahn to the current timeline. He wasn't actually a part of the story. He was dead, obviously, because of the events of Mortal Kombat 9. But Kronika, being a Titan and being able to mess with time, she brought Shao Kahn to the current era, and the agreement was that he works under her to basically take out Raiden. And Shao Kahn said, okay, well, I was dead before, so I might as well. And so that was the agreement that he had with Kronika. In all of this, Shao Kahn's obviously still...
AKA Dr. Evil. That's what we call her on this channel.
What, Kronika? That's a good one.
I know, all of my nicknames eat.
Well, Dr. Evil convinces Shao Kahn to be in her timeline and basically work for her. Obviously, Shao Kahn is still a very prideful and egotistical man, and he sees that Kotal Kahn is Outworld's emperor, and he's like, we're not having none of that. And he starts a fight with Kotal Kahn. Kotal Kahn gets his shit pushed in. I believe Shao Kahn broke his back, and it's a bit weird because Shao Kahn...
He became crippled. It's not a belief or anything. He became crippled. Zaddy Shao came in there and broke that back. Broke it. Broke it like it was a stick, honey.
So
I'm sorry. Shao Kahn was pissed when he came back and saw that, Kotal Kahn was doing his own thing. He was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, and he turned him into Cripple Kahn, and that was the end of his
Cripple Kahn. Oh my God. Why didn't I think of that? Why?
So that Cripple Kahn is done now. Shao Kahn is back. At least he thinks he is anyway. He has a fight with Kitana. I don't know how she pulls this one off, but she manages to beat Shao Kahn. I think everybody else watching was as confused as I still am today, but Kitana won the match. So Shao Kahn doesn't really play much of a role in Mortal Kombat 11 outside of that until we get to Aftermath, where Shang Tsung reunites Shao Kahn with Sindel to help him steal Kronika's crown, because Shang Tsung wants the Crown of Souls, which is a weird twist of fate because now Shao Kahn is working for Shang Tsung almost, even though he's going about in a very snaky way. So the roles have sort of flipped on their head. And as we saw in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, Shao Kahn again clowns Kotal Kahn. He kills him. Kotal Kahn's head is thrown off of the ship as Sindel and Shao Kahn get off to start a war. And Shao Kahn and his forces storm Earthrealm's special forces. They do immeasurable damage to Earthrealm's forces. Unfortunately for him, Shang Tsung actually got his way. And even though he assisted Shang Tsung in assaulting Kronika, he is actually betrayed by Shang Tsung. And that is really the end of Shao Kahn's story in the previous timeline.
So in his in 11 ending, he basically just gets a power that allows him to create a world where he is the endless tournament champion for every Mortal Kombat tournament that happens, which is stupid and I don't really care about that. Okay, so moving on to Mortal Kombat 1, the new era. First of all, not here for the General Shao stuff, even though Mike said, maybe in like the expansion story, they'll bring him back as Shao Kahn or whatever, but I was never here for that General Shao stuff. I'm glad that he was able to still be evil and, bite Sindel in the back because, him being a general to Sindel and being like a little bodyguard of Edenia, it just wasn't giving what needed to be gave. That is not the Shao Kahn that I know, and it just didn't fit his character and his persona. So, yes, I was here for the story.
I wasn't very pleased with his subservient role to Kitana, Melina, and Sindel, but he was the acting general, and obviously Reiko served under him as Outworld's guard. He's got Reiko as his acting like main general
AKA,
for
AKA Reiko. He will be called Reiko on this channel, which, you know, he's just a Shao Kahn 2.0, in my opinion, a simp for Zaddy Shao. That's all that he is in this game. Let's just be very clear. So Reiko, the simp.
essentially after Liu Kang, who is now the fire god in this because of the events of Mortal Kombat 11. Shao Kahn, his role gets changed, and that is because of Liu Kang. Liu Kang basically puts him in the role of being subservient to the royal family, and so he is the head of the military. And I think Liu Kang's logic here was that if he serves under people that are more gentle than Onaga, he won't turn into a raging psychopath that wants to merge every single realm. Unfortunately for Liu Kang, that was wishful thinking, and you can see through the story of Mortal Kombat 1 that Shao Kahn is plotting. He doesn't agree with the actions of Sindel. Sindel tells him off several times, like a mum talking to her child, which was really weird to see considering they were lovers before. Shao Kahn openly disagrees with her. He basically stands against her policies, basically starts a rebellion of Outworld, which is where you can see where he is going to become Shao Kahn. They're kind of sowing the seeds of him becoming Shao Kahn. He was arrested and he was replaced by Katana because he obviously fails in his conquest of Outworld. And he does escape prison. So even though they did arrest him, he did manage to get away. And this is where he rallies his troops and his followers to rebel against Outworld's royal family, and also tame Onaga's plans, because Onaga is mentioned in this game. So it doesn't obviously go beyond that, because in Mortal Kombat 1, the story sort of veers off into a multiverse story and everybody has to sort of fight together. But as it stands right now, with the canonical ending of Shao Kahn, or General Kahn, at the end of Mortal Kombat 1, is he is rallying his troops to basically create a new Outworld and overthrow the royal family.
And I would just like to say, for this Princess Cut, you know, concluding it and ending it, I wasn't really here for the General Shao stuff, like I said before. They could have did better story-wise when it came to Sindel. You know, I had, you know, Mike, you know how people started doing like predictions before like the actual story came out and what they would think are going to happen. I thought it was going to be something on the lines of, you know, like he ends up betraying Sindel, but on the lines of them like having a relationship, like, you know, like she kind of saw something in Shao Kahn, but then he ends up like backstabbing her. It was nothing like that. And you know, him and everybody talking down to him, and you know, it's just, no, it wasn't giving what needed to be gave. And I would actually like to see Shao Kahn, you know, actually have a very, very good, successful invasion in an earlier franchise or something, because, you know, with the leaks and stuff, they're saying that the next antagonist is gonna be Havoc, aka Havage, and I'm just not here for that.
Yeah, I think the multiverse story that they've decided to go down is very disappointing. I would have preferred a more self-contained story where Shao Kahn, well, he becomes Shao Kahn and he becomes the main antagonist. And I know that might be more of the same, but you can tell his story differently. You can potentially change up where his love interest might be. You can change up who he kills. And you can actually, like Princess said, you can have him actually winning and not having his victories continuously stolen. I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here, because he is the big bad guy of Mortal Kombat. Even though Onaga is technically above him, he's always been the on-screen sort of like Vince McMahon bad guy. So I hope that they write him a bit better than they have previously. I think his character gets disrespected a lot considering how powerful he actually is. But we'll see where it goes from there.
Alright guys, that is all for today's Princess Cut. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to check out Mike Hollow's channel, you should go head over there. You know, he does good podcasts. There are some funny gameplay videos and stuff, and he has a lot of controversial topics that, you know, you can get into with him.
I hope to see you guys over there. Thanks for having me.
Alright guys, see you next video.